Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to share with you my tournament results over the past 4 months after I took a 2-year break from tournament play, and also how I made it, why my tournament results improved so drastically compared to a few years ago, and also give you some advice on how to approach tournament play if you want to win or place in top 3. So 2 years ago I decided to focus on online play only and put over-the-board play on hold for a while, and after reaching my goal, which was 2400 on chess.com, I decided it was time to return to over-the-board play and see how my game has changed. I wish I could say that all you need to do in order to place well in chess tournaments is be a decent player and be good at the game, but I think it is more complicated than that, and I'm sure a lot of people who play in tournaments have noticed that no matter how hard you work and regardless of your apparent improvement and the fact that you are actually close to winning a tournament or placing in top 3, there's always one other guy who seems to be head and shoulders above the rest, who doesn't lose any games, who seems to be luckier than everyone else, who can survive almost any inferior or even losing position, and who seems to be winning their games without putting any effort. So the real question is not only how to get better at chess, but how to be that guy. So in this video I will try to explain how you can potentially become that guy, or at least be more like him. We're going to start with a quick overview of my tournament results over the past 4 months. Then we're going to look at chess skills and knowledge needed to win a tournament or place in top 3, tournament strategy, psychology and mental attitude during tournament play, disaster management and how to handle inferior or hopeless positions, and we are going to end with are you ready and should you play in chess tournaments. So in the past 4 months I played in 8 tournaments, and in 6 of them I managed to place in top 3, and also I won half of them. So here are the results. Hampshire Rapidplay Congress Open Section first place, Ealing Broadway Rapidplay Congress Under 2000 first place, Golders Green Rapidplay Under 1900 first place, Ealing Broadway Congress Open Section second place, Ringwood Rapidplay Congress Open Section second place, Basingstoke Rapidplay Congress Open Section third place. Needless to say, I was quite happy with these results, and even more so because of the fact that in 2 of these tournaments I left no less than 4 titled players behind. So to me this indicated that a real shift from the level I was previously playing at had taken place, and that now I could possibly aim higher, think about international events and so on. So what is it I did in those few years I took a break from tournaments that led to being able to play so well compared to before, and what are the chess skills and knowledge in general needed to win a place in top 3 in chess tournaments? I did a lot of work on various aspects of the game, but if I had to single out 2 or 4 most important things depending on the way you look at it, that would be the things that the sub 2200 player consistently or regularly fails at some stage of the game, or completely lack, and they are the ability to calculate sufficiently long variations, the discipline to calculate sufficiently long variations, the ability to think in terms of candidate moves, and the discipline to think in terms of candidate moves. So you can think of this as calculation of long variations or sufficiently long variations and thinking in terms of candidate moves. Now, the distinction between ability and discipline is an important one here, because you may have one but not the other. For example, you may be able to calculate variations but do not have the discipline to do so. You may have the discipline to think in terms of candidate moves but not the ability. So in other words, you try to but cannot do it, or you can but do not try to do it. So what is the quickest way of addressing these in my view most important aspects on the road to becoming a strong chess player that will also set you apart from the rest of the field? It may in fact be easier than you think. You only need to buy 2 books to address these two issues. The third book I'm going to talk about a bit later. But for now, those two books are visualization training exercises for the advanced chess player, learn to visualize and calculate 10 to 16 moves ahead. And the other is Multiple Choice Chess, volumes 1 and 2, now in one book, by Graham Buckley. The links to those two books and also the third book I'm going to recommend in this video are in the description of the video. And these two books will develop the skill and the discipline to both calculate sufficiently long variations and think in terms of candidate moves like nothing else. I've been working with these books consistently over the past 2 years and continue to work with them almost on a daily basis, because they're the kind of books you just don't put aside and forget about, but continue to use in order to maintain those skills. You will most likely still need to do the rest of the work, like continue to refine your opening repertoire and work on any other weaknesses in your game you may be aware of, and so on. But the above is the foundation and the main bulk of the kind of work needed to win a tournament. So now we need to go beyond the pure chess skills and knowledge and talk about what else we can do to maximize the probability or our chances of winning a tournament. Because even if we are as strong as any other player in the field, things may not necessarily go our way. And while Kaiser can be whimsical on certain days, she does not reward random and undeserving people. So if someone else won a tournament instead of you and you think it was because they were lucky and you were not, the chances they had something as a player or as a person that made them deserve that luck. And there is an old saying about luck that says that luck is with the better player, but I would also say that luck is with the better player and the better person. To be the better player and the better person, you have to leave nothing to chance and cover as many bases as possible, from getting enough sleep and nutrition to being able to stay in the right state of mind and remove all minor and major distraction, whatever that might be. You also have to use the full arsenal of strengths you have as a player to make luck work in your favor, and not only go with the flow of the game and react to whatever the current situation on the board is. You have to play actively in accordance with your style and shape the game and the arising positions to be ones you thrive in, rather than passively react to your opponent trying to do the same. So this is one of the ways to be lucky in chess, by increasing the likelihood of your opponent making a mistake first. And you do so by steering the game into positions which, of all kinds of positions, you know you are most comfortable with. So very often over the board I ask myself before making a move, is this my kind of position? Is this going to be a position I think I can win based on my strengths as a player? And it is here we need to talk about tournament strategy and psychology and mental attitude during tournament play. I will share with you my tournament strategy, and I'm not saying yours should be the same, but this is the strategy that reflects my strengths best as a player. So my strategy is to get into complicated positions from the very start of the game, wherever possible, without taking excess risks, and outcalculate my opponents in the arising positions. To do that, I strive to play dynamic chess and keep my opponents guessing by playing complex, double-edged, dynamic and under-the-radar openings. For example, two such openings are the Dutch defense and the King's Gambit. And they are two of my main opening choices. I fully believe in these openings, which allows me to get into the kind of positions I want, which fit my style perfectly, which I am more likely to win due to working exclusively with the books I mentioned above. As for psychology and mental attitude during tournament play, when it comes to psychology and mental attitude, I do not see the tournament as a whole as something that necessarily needs to be won. If you look at the tournament as a whole, you may think that one loss or a draw are not a big deal and you can come back, but I don't think that is correct, and it's easy to fall into this trap if you see the tournament as something consisting of many games. So what I would like to do is forget about the fact I'm playing in a tournament, and I see every game as a tournament in itself that cannot be lost, And when I sit at the board, I play like this is the last game I will ever play in my life. And that is also the last game for the day. This brings out a whole different level of skill, mental fortitude, ability to survive in inferior positions, and desire to win, which would simply not be the case if I was looking at the game more casually. In addition, I never judge my opponents based on rating. Regardless of my opponent's rating, I play like I'm playing the strongest player in the world. Because if I took a few years off tournament play to try to get better at the game, the chances somebody else did so too. And there is no real way to know how strong someone is based on their rating. And that is also a trap that must be avoided at all costs. A 1500 player can give you the most fighting game over the board, and a 2200 player can blunder the game away in 2 moves. There's absolutely nothing to gain from judging someone based on their rating. And yes, certain decisions can be made during the game when there's nothing else to go by. But don't assume just because someone is 1700 rated, they have traveled to a tournament, paid the entry fee and all other related expenses to only go down without a fight in every single game. That is almost never the case. Last but not least, you must never show your true emotions over the board and telegraph any kind of information to your opponent that might help them take the right decision in the critical moment of the game. I see a lot of players who, once they realize they have even a slightly inferior position or make a bad move, start shaking their head, inhale or exhale loudly, mumble in disbelief, look to the side in anger, etc. Regardless of the situation at the board, you must remain absolutely calm on the outside. And while it is difficult to suppress your emotions, you must try your best to do so. Anything else makes things easier for your opponent, and even if you know your position is bad, they don't necessarily know the same. And if you signal to them that you have come to the conclusion your position is bad, they will start looking even harder and will find a way to win the game. So remaining calm is absolutely crucial in both winning and losing positions, and if you manage to do the above and combine this with adequate chess skills along the lines I suggested, the chances you will simply be unstoppable and can win or place in top 3 in many of the tournaments you play in. Now we get to disaster management and how to handle inferior or hopeless positions. In other words, what to do when things are not going your way and things are in fact looking dire. The biggest takeaway for me from all those tournaments I played in recently and over the past few months was that it is not the person who plays well from start to finish by getting an advantage from the opening and then converts it who is going to win the tournament. Yes, it is important that this happens more often than not, but I believe the person who is most likely to win a tournament is the one who survives and knows how to psychologically and otherwise handle inferior and even losing positions. And it is here we need to talk about the most undeservedly neglected aspect of chess, which is chess defense. I remember the first time I got above 2300 on chess.com, I noticed how incredibly difficult it was to beat 23 and 2400 opponents, because even in completely winning for me positions, they would defend with ease I found hard to believe. Initially, I thought that this was because they had a superior intuition, but I later discarded this notion because intuition as a psychic faculty does not have a set and consistent rate of success, while these players were consistently able to win losing in inferior positions. So I reached the conclusion that these players were actively working on their chess defense skills, and I was correct because shortly after I started working on chess defense and got the third book you can see on screen, I reached the 2400 rating on chess.com. The book is simply indispensable and is the best book on chess defense there is. I would suggest getting all these books and working with them at the same time by doing one exercise or going through a diagram or a few pages of each book every day or every other day. This is as far as the pure chess side of handling inferior or losing positions is concerned. But what about the psychological side? Let me give you an example. In the Ealing Broadway Congress Open section where I placed second, I lost a piece in game 1 in the early opening against a 1600 player. It was early in the day. I was working on a new system against the French, which I decided not to play and then regretted it, which led to being discouraged and unmotivated to play, and that led to an almost an immediate loss of a piece for absolutely no compensation. So naturally my reaction was an extreme anger and disappointment, which however I did not let take an outward expression. In other words, I did not show this to my opponent in any way, shape or form. And whenever that happens to you, I want you to do the following. Keep your hands away from the board for at least 2 minutes if the time situation allows it, and let anger subside, because one blunder follows another when you're angry. And when that happens, just say to yourself that it does not matter why you're in this situation, but you have to make the best of it. You do not have to lose the game and can make a comeback the way you have hundreds of times in online play. You made a mistake, but it is not the end of the world, and your opponent can return the favor if you survive and make them work long and hard enough. And that is exactly what happened in my game. Now we come to our final point, how to know if you are ready to play in tournaments and are likely to win or place in top 3. I will keep this one short, and I deliberately kept it for last because I do not want to discourage people from playing, and I hope I won't. But sometimes in life it's best to take a step back and reassess your situation to avoid further disappointment, which might have a lasting and irreversible effects on your play. So I believe you can use your online rating quite accurately to predict how well you can place in over-the-board rapid and classical tournaments. And I know a lot of people might disagree with me. I am purely going based on personal experience here, so I am not asking everyone to agree with me. But the way I see it is this: with a sub 2000 rating on chess.com, you're not likely to be able to win a place in a top 3 in an under 1900, under 2000 or an open tournament. With a 2200 rating on chess.com, you're likely to place in top 5. With a 24 plus 100 rating, you're likely to be consistently in the top 3 and win many of those tournaments. A lot of people seem to think that online ratings do not matter because over the board play is totally different and you have more time to think. So it doesn't matter what your rating is online, but I do not agree with this, because while you may have more time to think, so does your opponent. So if you are, let's say, 1800 online, how well do you think you're going to fare against the 2100 rated opponent online in an over-the-board game? Yes, you have more time to think, but they also have more time to think. So the chances that in one way or another the rating gap will manifest itself in a win for the higher rated online player, even in an over-the-board play. Also, making the temporary switch to online play can have a very huge impact on your future play, assuming you're currently not doing too well in over-the-board play, because it can help you regain your confidence to the point you have started believing in yourself again, and you can come back to over-the-board play as a completely reformed player and start winning those tournaments. That is what I did. It kind of paid off for me, so I just wanted to share my thoughts with you. And that is all for today. I hope you have found this useful. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.